Librarians. What's the most ridiculous thing someone has tried to steal from a library? I was halfway through shelving a card of returns when one of our volunteers came over holding a romance novel like it was radioactive. She whispered, "Tom, people keep complaining the book's cut off mid-kiss and skip to the next chapter." That didn't sound right, so I checked for myself. Sure enough, whole pages were missing, sliced out with razor blade precision, and they weren't random pages either. Every single one was a kissing scene. Pretty soon, patrons were lining up at the desk, demanding to know if the library had started censoring books. One woman slammed a copy on the counter and said, "This is false advertising." The back cover promised a beach proposal. I got 2 people eating dinner and then nothing. So I started playing detective. I pulled the borrowing history and noticed every mangled romance had one thing in common. They'd all been checked out by the same patron, Harold Turner, 87 years old, white hair, glasses thick as a windshield, walks with a cane, the kind of man who thanks you twice just for handing him a receipt. Harold had been coming in twice a week for years, always checking out stacks of romance novels. I figured he was just lonely. Turns out he was running a one-man smuggling operation. The next time Harold came in, I decided to watch him closely. He shuffled over to his usual armchair with a fresh romance and pulled out what looked like a bookmark. But when the light caught it, I saw the blade. I stood there in shock as this sweet old man calmly performed page surgery. He cut out a 3-page kissing scene, folded it neatly, and slipped it into a manila folder labeled in perfect handwriting, "Margaret's Favorites." When I confronted him, Harold nearly jumped out of his chair. His explanation tumbled out in a rush. His wife, Margaret, lived in a memory care facility. She couldn't follow complex plots anymore, but romantic moments still made her light up. He'd been collecting the best parts so she could enjoy them without getting confused. I almost let him off on the spot, but I reminded him he was destroying library property, and he promised to stop. He looked so embarrassed, I believed him, until the very next week. I walked past the romance section, and there he was. Same chair, same craft knife, same manila folder. He didn't even look guilty this time. That's when I had to call the police. Officer Kim showed up expecting some punk with a Sharpie. Instead, she found Harold calmly clipping out a ballroom kiss while surrounded by dozens of neatly stacked evidence packets. She started reading him his rights, but Harold interrupted her. "Can you hold on? Margaret loves the ballroom ones. Just give me 30 more seconds." By the time backup arrived, Harold was lecturing the officers about story efficiency. He insisted he was doing the community a favor by removing all the boring plot filler so other readers could focus on the character development. The younger officer actually asked me, "Sir, what crime is this? Theft? Vandalism? Plagiarism?" I had no answer. The whole thing looked like an SAT question that got out of hand. They ended up taking Harold downtown with a folder full of romance scenes organized by theme: spontaneous rainstorms, secret kisses, public declarations. The desk sergeant told me it was the first time in department history anyone had been booked for romantic scene harvesting. Eventually the charges were dropped, but Harold wasn't done. Instead of sneaking around, he now strolls up to my desk twice a week and asks, dead serious, which titles have the highest kiss per dollar ratio. He turned our entire romance section into a buffet and somehow managed to make grand theft literature look like true love.